CMPradio.net, man. You already know it's the station, and this is Uncomfortable Conversations. And tonight on Uncomfortable Conversations, you know, my co-host, say hi, Drea.
Hi.
Right. On tonight's episode of Uncomfortable Conversations, we're going to take a ride down the you versus you and try to understand how we are our own worst enemy. Now I know, right? Sometimes it's them. They over there, they messing with my stuff, they playing with me, they're messing up how I view things. We don't take the time to understand that we make our excuses, we make our reasons, we explain things, we procrastinate, we want the perfect timing, we want perfectionism, and sometimes that's not good, right? Sometimes you should just do it, right? You should just move forward with it. But we're going to break that down on tonight's episode. We want to say, hey, what's up to everybody out there in Facebook world, Facebook land, and YouTube, right? Like and subscribe, right, to our page, please. Appreciate it. Let's get started. This is Drea's.
This is my topic.
This is your topic, right? So let's go.
Okay, so we're going to say, what is the meaning of you versus you? So to me, it means you are your greatest competition, and the only person to get in the way of your success is you. The you versus you mentality is difficult to cultivate, but it's possible when you focus more on the process instead of the intended outcome.
Right.
So the process is really, really important because at the end of the day, like, when you think about this world and, you know, a lot of things that we do in this world, we measure our success by how we perform, accolades, money, you know, acknowledgement. And sometimes when we do that, we get caught up with everything that's going on around us. And, you know, when really the focus should be on, like, how can I be better? How can I grow? Not being worried about what everybody else is doing. Being in your own lane, realizing that you are your own competition.
Right.
Because so many people get caught up in what everybody else is doing instead of being focused on what they need to do. And then that's why a lot of people are walking around depressed, you know, because
frustrated
right. Because they're thinking about, like, they're looking at social media or they're looking at family members or they're looking at friends and they're thinking, oh, I should be doing this or I should be doing that, or wow, I didn't hit this target by this time. And this is a very passionate topic for me because I think about, like, growing up, I had these, like, targets. Hey, like, oh, before I turn 29, I have to be married because I'm going to be old maid. Oh, if I don't get a degree, you know, then that means I'm not going to be successful. I got to have a house by this age. I got to do this by a certain age. But this was based off of societal standards. It wasn't based off of, like, necessarily things that I really wanted to do. Not saying I didn't want to do them, but it's like I was focused on, hey, I need to do this by this time. I need to do that by that time. And there's nothing wrong with having goals. Smart goals are good to have. But when you're basing things off of society, you're basing things off of, if I don't get a house before this age, or I don't have a child before this age, if I don't get married before this age, I'm a failure. Then you will be sitting around like you won't be focused on the small successes that you've made. You won't be happy because you're worried about the outside noise. So this is a really passionate topic for me, because I really just got to a place where, like, I really march to the beat of my own drum. Like, my goals are my goals, but they're based off of what makes me happy, what is going to, like, help me thrive, and I can really care less what the next person is doing. I can clap for other folks, but at the end of the day, like, I'm in my own lane. So my competition is none. It's me, actually. And that's not to sound cocky, but I had to get to this place because I used to always be like, oh my God, I got to do this by this age. I got to do this by that age. And a lot of times having that mindset had me unhappy, frustrated, and stressed. So, this, like I said, this is a very passionate topic for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's the same thing for me. I have been my own worst enemy. Downplaying, the type of person that I was growing up. You feel me? Running away from that, being an honest person, running away from the house and running to the streets. It was you versus me, right? Hustling, playing in the streets, trying to be successful all the wrong ways, right? That's how it was. You versus me. And it was like it says in here, barriers to your overall growth, right? I just felt like, and I said this when I first started the radio station, that I was actually growing up. I was 37 years old when I started the radio station, and I felt like at that point I was finally maturing.
Wow.
Right? And that's probably the same with most men that grow up in our areas, right? Because money comes fast, right? And when money comes to you at a young age, you continue to do whatever brings you money, right? Mm-hmm. And you think that's all you need. I was talking to a student today. He was like, I want money to be my best friend. I was like, why money? Like,
wow.
He was like, no, because, money, without money, you can't have anything. True, right? Very true. But without real friends, you can't have money. Without someone to trust in, you can't have money.
Facts.
Right? You can have money and not be able to keep it. Right? So, don't try to trust in somebody. Think of somebody in your life that could be your favorite, right? And I was telling him that. And I was telling him that because there was nobody to tell me that. Right? Like I said, yes, my dad died when I was 12. Everybody knows that story. From 12, I want to say from 13 to 35. It's 23 years where I ran through the streets with reckless abandon and didn't care who I hurt, male, female, whoever, right? And that didn't leave me in a good space. So when I finally went to therapy, it was like, yo, like you could hear the that ding, 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 ding of the truck backing up. I got a drop off for you, boss. And I walked out of therapy feeling so light.
Wow.
I thought I could fly, like literally. I was like, wow. Now I don't have a problem with telling my story, telling it to people that really want to hear it, right? And can use it to help them, right? To move forward, because it really is you versus I was in my own way. I tripped over my own feet. I tied my own neck. You feel me? I put a leash around my own wrist and kept myself right there. And it didn't really work. But when I changed and I talked about it and I was able to free myself, that's when I began to live, right? So I think it's important that we understand that the you versus you situation can be a real setback.
Absolutely. And you got to also take in consideration like our environment. Sometimes that's the barrier. Sometimes it's the people that you hanging around. Not even like, you live in the hood. Okay, you can live in the hood but not be of the hood.
It's very hard.
And it is hard, but it is possible.
It is.
It is very possible. And it's like if you're hanging around people that are negative and you're trying to be a positive individual, it makes it kind of hard.
It's definitely hard. I should have been a preacher. You feel me? As giving as I am, right? I will give you my last, right? Oh yeah, here you can have it. Here you can take it. Here, and I think God gave me all these kids because look, you looking out for too many people on the street, right?
Wow.
Look out for some people that really are gonna love you. Look out for some people that are really gonna get mad when you can't do something, and you feel that, right? I've been doing this radio station for 7 years, right? And for 7 years, this was all I knew.
Wow.
Right? And then I got jobs, right? I had 2 jobs. I was making $150,000 a year. You would have thought I would be happy, right? No, I wasn't, right? And that's, like I said, when my mom passed away, I realized that I can do, I can give, I can be all of these things for all of these people. But if I'm not happy, what am I doing it for?
Oh, now you just made me think of something. It's like sometimes we spend our lives, pouring to everybody else's cup, and sometimes we forget to replenish our own. So then we're depleted, and we're still trying to pour. And most of the time, when that happens, you start having physiologically affects you. You're like, dang, why I feel sick today? Why I feel so tired? Because you pouring and you empty.
I don't think it was sick. I just had an attitude. I wasn't the person, and people tell me, bro, man, like, what's up? You good? Like, yeah, I'm good. Like, why you walk? Why your face look like that? What happened to P? What happened to Happy P, man? You
Right.
used to come through here, you feel me? I was like, yo, I got 3 jobs, honestly. And the only job I really want to work for is the radio station. You feel me? And I'm working a job to pay all the bills at the radio station and keep it afloat. Things pile up, right? Then I'm out in the community. I'm helping. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. People are criticizing. People are talking. And I get it, right? People's making too much money, right? And it was, honestly, I was helping other people. People calling my phone, yo, man, I need to borrow, yo, can you? Absolutely, here, right? But I didn't realize that. So I had imposter syndrome. I felt like I didn't belong. And I felt like everything I said was just wrong. Everything I was doing was wrong. I got people judging and looking and wanting me to do this that way. And it was like, that's not how I do things. Like, I'm about the community, so I'm going to continue to be about the community. I'm going to continue to work for the community. I'm going to continue to say who needs what, where they need it at, and how to get it to them, right? I'm going to continue to do that. But that's not what everyone wanted me to do. So it's like, I can't do it your way.
But see how ahead of the game you are, the fact that you were able to acknowledge that you have imposter syndrome. There's so many people walking around and they don't even have like a clue about the barriers to their success, the barriers to, them getting unstuck out of situations. But just the fact that you were able to acknowledge that just says a lot about your personal growth.
I mean, I'm aware of who I am because of how I was raised. See, I wasn't raised in a survival mentality. You feel me? And I was very young. I was raised in a very loving situation. My aunt, my uncle, my mom, my father, my grandmother, you feel me? My grandfather, cousins, friends, family members, right? They loved me. They loved what I could do, right? Who I was. I could sit and have a conversation with anybody, right? And then I ran to the streets. And then I tried to do the same thing out there, right? Love my brothers. If we doing this together, yo, I love you.
Right.
I ain't never gonna come home without you.
Right.
You feel me? Like, and if something go down, we both go down. That's just how I was raised, right? But it doesn't work like that outside the streets. So
the people that are raised that off of love versus survival show up differently for their people, love differently, love in a healthier manner. Because people that are raised based off of just surviving alone, they are ruthless. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Right.
Those are people that stab you in the back. People that tell you they love you and would like take your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's real talk.
That's hard. I mean, I think it just comes from how you were raised. And we talked about this and attachment styles and trying to understand, like, as a child, how were you raised, right? What did you love the most? And I'm in a school, so when you ask a kid who's their favorite person and they don't want to answer that, or they don't, like, you don't have no favorites at when I was in 7th grade. Now I get it. I did not like my dad. Like, he was strict. He didn't let me outside. As a young man, I didn't like him. You feel me? Like, I'm like that thing. You feel me? But my mother, my grandmother, my aunts, I loved them. You feel me? My cousins, I loved them. So who would have been my favorite person if I was asked? At that point, it would have been my grandma. Why? Because my grandma got me on the weekends. My grandma took me to James Way. You feel me? My grandma let me buy toys. My grandma was crazy behind the wheel of a car. That's why I was crazy behind the wheel of a car. You feel me? Watch this. You feel me? Like, but she loved me and she talked to me. So out of that love, I love all women. I'll never hit a woman. You feel me? Like, I'll never be disrespectful to a point, right? If you get
keeping it real, you keeping it real.
I have to. You feel me? Like,
Right.
you know, I'm not going to disrespect you, but if you're coming at me disrespectfully, then disrespect follows you. It doesn't follow me. You feel me? So if you're giving it, it's going to come back to you. You're going to get it. So, but all that to say that I never really understood what it was to be a man. You feel me? So I was blocking myself. 16-year-old me was blocking myself from understanding what love was like.
Wow.
You feel me? And I had a conversation yesterday with a brother, and I told him, I said, man, you got to come through and talk, right? Because we were talking about how do you love? You feel me? Like, and I tried to explain this to you last week. I don't really put value on a woman, right? Because I was shown that the value of a woman was money. You feel me? Like $20, $30, $50, right? It wasn't a whole lot. And it's because what I saw when I was younger and how I was not attacked, but approached when I was younger, and what I did when I was younger that put me in that mindset of, oh, this is monetary. You feel me? Like, what's the problem? Oh, all right, here, some money will change that. Sprinkle. You feel me? Like, sprinkle some money on top of you, won't be mad anymore. And that was my immaturity in that situation. So it was you stomping on my feet, tripping me up,
Wow.
closing doors in my face, right? And it was until I had to look at that. Like I said, over these past 6 months, it's not even 6 months, it's been a year since my mom's been gone. You feel me? And it'll be a year in May. Her birthday is the 24th of April. So understanding how far I've come since then,
Absolutely, you have.
it's crazy, right? And that's because I'm not going to say I don't have anyone that I trust. You feel me? Let me just say, in this stage, I don't want to trust anyone else, right? I want to get past this stage that I'm in right now,
Okay.
right? In the grief process, right?
Got you.
Because, you know, you think of a person dealing with life issues and you say, all right, you know, how is he healing? Well, I couldn't heal because after my mother, who was my cousin, it was my grandfather, it was my godmother's grandmother, and then it was my aunt. So after all that, I didn't get a chance to really grieve over my mother.
Right.
Because I had to grieve over everybody else. And everybody else that passed away had an effect on my life, bro. They were in my life as a child. They taught me something. They gave me something. They gave me advice. If it wasn't for my grandfather, I wouldn't be worried about no religion, right? He said, go find your religion. My mom taught me forgiveness, right? My aunt taught me love, bro. Like, I had to love her no matter how mean she was to me. You feel me? Like, so it's like, wow. How?
Something you just said just ring a bell because I just put a stat about this, like how often a lot of men feel like their worth is only measured by like if they got money or if they could throw money at a problem or something like that. And it kind of makes me think sometimes like how many black men can actually be fortunate enough to say like, you know, I have women in my life that if I didn't have a dollar, if I couldn't do anything for them per se, they would still show up for me or like they would still respect me. Like I don't feel like, okay, they're only in my life because, yeah, I'm a good provider or I'm a good protector. But just to have somebody to be there even when you don't have nothing to give but yourself. You don't have nothing tangible.
Everybody wants something, right?
I said tangible.
Well,
That's materialistic things.
No, everybody wants something, right? Whether it's materialistic, whether it's just being there, right? And it all depends on what that person has to offer. See, I had money to offer. I had a lot of other things to offer, but I didn't think anyone valued that. Right? So I didn't offer anything. But I've always spoken just like I'm speaking right now. Like this just happen, right?
But money is also sometimes easier to give than to give yourself.
Oh, no, I've given myself to everybody. There ain't a person that can tell you they had a relationship with me and I didn't give myself to them, right? Now, they might not have liked what else happened, but you feel me?
Touché.
Like, was I a friend? Absolutely. Was I supportive? Absolutely. Was I there? Absolutely. Could you talk to me? Absolutely. Could you cry on my shoulder? Absolutely. Could you tell me you needed something and I would try my best to get it? Absolutely. You feel me? So, but you didn't really want any of that stuff, because sometimes crying on someone's shoulder, that should force you to grow up, right? We shouldn't have this issue again. You feel me? You cried about it. You understood it.
So
but
what are we going to do about it? How are we going to avoid going through this same situation?
And that's how I handle it. You feel me? So,
that tough love.
That's how my dad handled it. You feel me? That's what I knew a man to be. You feel me? Handle it. Whatever you need to do. I didn't want to sell drugs. On my dad's deathbed, he asked me to take care of his wife and his daughter. I was 12 years old. Can you imagine the amount of pressure?
I can't even imagine.
The amount of pressure, bro. The amount of I have to do something. And I did it. And I tried it. And there was no other choice for me. I had to keep doing it. Now, I had jobs. I worked jobs. It was never a problem to get a job. But that right there, that was my bigger you. You feel me? Like, and that was on my back at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, right? All the way up until I was locked up, looking out the window. And I swear my dad was in that room with, he said, "Didn't I tell you, dumbass?" I said, "Sully, what you say?" He said, "Man, I ain't say nothing." And this was quarantine. It was a Graterford.
Wow.
Looking out the window. Go back to being in the Banneker's, looking out the window, and answer my dad, "Can I go outside?" You go outside, you're going to end up upstate with those three people. Guess who I saw out the window? Those three people. So he was right. And that's when I understood, right? I tried my hardest for him not to be right. But he was.
So let me ask you this question. At what age do you think you got to that point where it's like, yo, it's me versus me? Like, when did you feel like that hit you?
After therapy.
After therapy? Okay. Okay.
Because I couldn't pinpoint anybody that didn't do me right. I didn't do myself right. See, I walked out of class. I didn't go to class. I went to college. I didn't go to college. I didn't go to class. I played around. You feel me? Like, accountability is real.
You stop being a victim.
Boy, I cheated. I lied. I stuck. I didn't put the condom on. I didn't. You feel me? Like, not you. Me. I didn't care. I stole. Not you. Me. So it's been me versus me for a long time. But again, when you get to changing, it gets uncomfortable.
Ooh, you better say it.
And the first place you can go back to is who you used to be. And I tried that.
So comfortable. We like to stay in because it's like,
but I was like, I'm changing. Nah, not really. Here, drink this alcohol. You feel me? Here, go on this podcast, drink this alcohol, talk ish. I was like, no. That's not what I want. You feel me? That's really not what I want to do. You feel me? Like, I got a job halfway through here. I was working at a soda factory that makes soda and stuff like that, right? And I let my homies do their thing, do your show. Okay. You feel me? Nothing ever happened. Nothing was bad. Nothing. It was good. Like family, taking care of the radio station while I had to work. But I never really felt like working. I always wanted to be at the radio station. So it's like, when they fired me, I ain't care. Okay. I ain't really want to be here anyway. But you see, like, what you should do. You know how you should go about it, but you change it. And you want to make it so that you're going through it comfortably. And I had to understand that nothing changes without it being uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Nothing gets easier without the rough seas. You feel me? Like, you saying easier. You want it easier, you got to go through the rough parts first. Like, God is testing me, bro.
It's just like you can't become a butterfly before you go through that cocoon phase. Like,
at all.
And nobody wants to go through that.
Who wants to go through it? Nobody. I don't want to be in this cocoon. I'm trying to be out there. I don't care if I'm taking 2 years to get up the tree. Right.
Right.
I want to rock.
Right.
I want to party. I want to go out. I watched Wallow yesterday. We put a live up. He said summer's in 76 days. It might be 75 days now. He said take summer off. Right? Don't party. Just work. Work on what you want. Right? And I think if more people did that, if more people was more involved with their community, if more people took time off to just stop the partying, stop the drinking, stop the playing around, and we came out into our community, we began to fix it up and do what we could do, what we should do, we would be a better community.
I agree.
You feel me?
I agree.
But if don't nobody want to stop, then you look like the fool out there doing things until somebody shows up and offers you something. Now everybody want to come out. See, right? Everybody want to come out now because we getting stuff. But when they wasn't giving nothing, you was the only person out there. You stayed by yourself.
But you know this to be true. In order to make like a big impact or to like embark on something big, sometimes you're going to be the radical one. You're going to look like the nut. Like you might be the odd one standing. Everybody like, yo, you crazy.
You tripping.
You crazy because you believe in blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, it's like, it's not easy standing alone, but sometimes it's necessary. And, man, it is necessary at times, for sure.
I would hope that people would hear this podcast and understand that life is hard. You will have your moments where you want to give up. You will have your moments where you don't want to keep on going, where you want to make excuses, where you just want to sit and just chill and be comfortable. But that's not the life that God wanted for you, right? Your struggle that he gives you is your struggle, right? You got to walk through that joint, right?
Absolutely.
And will it be rough seas? Absolutely. Will it be dry days walking through the desert? Absolutely. Will it be rainy days when you ain't got no umbrella? Absolutely. Will the sun be beating down on your head sometimes?
Absolutely.
Right? But you got to keep pushing. You have to.
But you know what? Also, you have to realize that you are like worthy of like anything and everything that you want for yourself. Like, because when you have that you versus you mentality, it's like, hey, like, I'm fighting for me. I am my number one priority. And that might sound selfish to some.
No, it's not.
Some people may disagree.
The people that would disagree are the people that grew up in survival, right? They didn't grow up in love, right? See, it's you versus you right now. And when you get to your destination, then you can share, right? Then you can give. Then you can do for more people. And it's not being selfish. I think I tried that. Oh, man, here. Me and Nafati, I never went. I think I went one Sunday. We were feeding people at the, what's that called?
The city team?
No, it wasn't City Team. It was Salvation Army.
Okay.
Her and Kenny were feeding people over there. They were always talking to people.
Okay.
And she had this conversation with this man, and he said, the reason why I'm homeless is because I gave away my bricks.
Jeez Louise, wow.
While I was building my house, I was helping people.
Wow.
I was giving away my bricks. I was giving away my foundation. I was giving away bill money. I was giving away everything, right? And thinking that when I needed something, somebody would give it back to me.
Wow.
And they didn't, right? That's why I'm homeless, right? College educated man, right? Understood, right? What he need to do. He's like, right now I don't have nothing, but I'm going to get it.
That's heart-wrenching.
It is, right? And I remember that story so much because that wasn't what I was doing during these 7 years.
Okay.
Right? Because I was already homeless. I didn't have a lot. But before, always helping, always there, always giving, always doing, always call me, I'm there. Call me, you need me. Call me, I'm showing up. You feel me? Like, and when I started the radio station, it was like, yeah, you on your own. So I felt that when he said that, right? And I wanted to cry, but I couldn't cry because, you feel me, I was in there. So I was like, you hear these stories of people saying, take care of yourself, give to yourself, pay yourself, do for yourself before you do for anybody else. And now I understand that. I can't take care of you if my cup is empty.
Absolutely.
I can't take care of me if my cup is empty.
Facts.
So I'm going to need another cup. And I'm going to have to hold that drink behind my back and show you my empty cup. And you're going to have to believe that until that cup starts to roll over, and then I pour a little bit into the cup and I can pour some out, right? But other than that, I can't. I have to be selfish because what I want is greater than me. It's not just about me, right? It's not. People ask me all the time, why you start the radio station? For my community, right? I did a show. I went to Upper Darby yesterday, did a show in Upper Darby. I didn't know all that stuff was going on in Upper Darby. I didn't know they were missing money and they was playing around with this. And I was like, oh, sheesh. But you don't know if you don't go. You don't know if you don't listen. So you have to go to the meetings. You have to see what's happening in your community. You have to hold people accountable. Your public servants are public servants because they work for the public. They ask for your vote. They promised you something, and they should deliver on it. If they don't, you vote the new person in. 4 years. That's it. Some or two. Right? But no, I'm not going to sit here and let you continue to lie to me. See you. You got to go. We got to know that. We got to know that our voice is powerful.
Wow, you said a whole word right there. And there's so many people out there that have power, but, they're afraid to be judged. They're afraid to look like the odd one.
You'll always be
judged.
judged.
To be a little radical.
You'll always be radical. You'll always be judged. You'll always have people looking at you. You'll always have people saying you're the odd one, even if you're not the odd one. Inside of a group, the group will point you out. Oh, you're the only person that likes girls with braids.
Right.
You're going to be odd.
Right.
Your actions are going to be odd. You can't even hide it in a group.
That's true.
So be yourself. Love yourself. Give to yourself. And then give to your community.
But again, if you don't have that love for self because maybe you've been beaten down by the world, that's hard.
Go to therapy. Go to therapy. I suggest for everyone to go to therapy. I don't care if you think you got everything worked out. If you got millions of dollars in your bank account, somehow, some way, God will give you a test to shift you. If you don't go to therapy, you'll fall. If you don't understand you don't understand what gets you ticking, you'll fall. We talked about attachment styles and how you should start off a first date. That was never on the first date. I'm looking at your chest, or your ass, or your lips. I'm talking to you like that.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
'Cause I'm trying to. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not worried about attachment style. I'm not worried about how you argue. I'm not worried about conflict resolution. I'm not worried about all these things I should have been worried about.
But you evolved. You evolved.
Yeah, but it's funny when you evolve, you're like, damn, I should have asked that question. How's your relationship with your mother? Oh, no, I really don't deal with my mother. Okay, it was nice talking to you. How's your relationship with your dad? Oh, my dad wasn't around. Oh, it was nice talking to you. Yeah, right? Because guess what? That means you're going to be burdensome with me, and you want me to be here. I gotta work. You like nice things, right? You want money, right? Let me go to work. I can't go to work if I'm sitting up underneath you all day.
I'm a counter your comment. You can still, you feel how you feel, but I was someone that grew up without a mother. Now again,
no, that's a father. A mother is you're aggressive. You yell, you fuss, you scream, you will burn this motherfucker down if it don't go your way. You need things to be your way, right? If mom wasn't there and dad was, you got more masculine traits in you, and you talk like you talking to a man, like you're a man, like you're not, you're a female. So you got to be soft. You said that last week. You got to be soft. You got to be supple. You feel me? You got to get them with honey instead of putting the vinegar out there thinking you're going to get some. I said sit right here and talk to me. No, I'm not. You're yelling. I'm leaving. I'm going out with my friends.
But if you have the will to change, it anything is possible because you can change.
People can change when they realize that they've done wrong. Some people never realize that they do wrong. Some people never went to therapy to realize, oh, I've been doing that the whole time.
Speaking of that, going to one of these bullets, self-sabotage. Some people wouldn't know a good thing if it was staring straight smack dead in their face.
That's
because they sabotage anything that's good because they may have not went to therapy. They may have wounds they have not dealt with, and anything good come their way, they'll figure a way to destroy it. And I feel like at some point, everybody who has some type of trauma has experienced sabotaging something that's good. No matter how, healthy you are now and emotionally intelligent you are now, everybody has sabotaged a good thing, a good friendship, a good relationship of some sort at some point in their life.
Yeah, I mean, I did it rigorously, continuously. I think I did it up to about 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
Right? Probably closer to a year and a half. But that was because I didn't want to be hurt. Again, you feel me? Like understanding that I was a fearful avoidant, right? Running from being hurt, running from accountability. You feel me? And boy, that stings. It definitely stings when you read it and you figure out, oh shit, that's me. Damn. Now, what do I do to fix that? How can I fix that? How can I fix the relationships that I've torn asunder, right? Or the relationships that I didn't allow to mature correctly, or the relationships that it was just we just having sex.
But this is what I will say: some things that we have self-sabotaged, it's not meant to come back together. You might have to forgive yourself for the things that you did wrong, whatever behavior that you was doing. Grow from it, learn from it, and move on. But sometimes it's like, when it's broke, it's broke.
Right.
And ain't no coming back.
But that's true to the women that I don't have children with. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I had this conversation with a young man today, and we were talking about, he's like, would you ever go back to any of your baby moms? I said, I have. I didn't go back healed, though. I said, have you healed from your situation? Do you know why y'all were always arguing? Have you tried to answer the question? Have you tried to have a conversation with her and understand the type of woman she is or where she stands? I said, y'all got a kid. So going back, if you have a child, is never wrong if you're healthy.
Absolutely. I agree.
Right? Going back, if you have a child and you're not healthy, it's going to be the same shit.
Yeah, different day.
Reheat it, bro. Mm-hmm. And typically when you put food in the microwave, it gets hard.
Facts.
And so it's like, I don't want no pizza in the microwave.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Put it in the oven or the air fryer. Give me a couple minutes. You feel me? Heat it up. Like make it hot, but I don't want microwave heat.
Right.
And that's what happens when you go back and you haven't really talked to a therapist, or you haven't really understood how you deal with conflict. Right? My conflict resolution skills are, let's talk, let's communicate, let's change things, let's change how we're both looking at each other right now. Right? How can I be? You feel me? More understanding and a listener. See, I used to listen to respond.
Okay.
Right? You cheated on me? Now, I wouldn't have cheated on you. Now I listen. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Not to apologize, because females like to say, you're just apologizing, right? Not to apologize. And you have to say that. I'm not apologizing, right, to throw it underneath the rug. But I'm sorry. Like, I really did not mean to hurt you. Again, I wasn't thinking about you when I was doing what I was doing. That's the problem. You think I'm thinking about you and I'm saying I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, you were an afterthought. I didn't think about you not one time. You know what I thought about you? After I left, when I got in the car, like, oh shit, I got to go home. Right? That's when I thought I didn't think about you when I was doing what I was doing. So it wasn't for you. It wasn't at you. Yeah, we're in a relationship. Yeah, I'm absolutely wrong for doing that. Right? And I apologize. Oh no, I don't want your apologies. So what do you want? If you don't want my apologies, you want to go shopping? Here, take some money. Or you take the money, you'll go shopping. Right? But you don't want my apologies?
But with that being said, and I'm not trying to go off target with this
No,
subject,
go ahead.
but like when you're used to throwing money at situations, it gets you like the get out of jail card like real quick. Like, okay, I did this to this person. Oh, I know their favorite restaurant. Oh, I know they like these shoes. Oh, I like this. They like this perfume. Oh, I'll get this to them. And then everything will be back. And then you just continue in the same cycle. So I know, hey, when I do this, this would be a quick fix. You're just putting a temporary Band-Aid on the situation. But the issue is still the issue. You're just going to keep on going round and round. And if the person is going to continue to allow you to just, hey, I want that Gucci bag, I want that Dior perfume, or whatever their whole thing that they like, and, you know, they're getting what they want, but it's temporary. That perfume run out, they be like, yo, I can't believe he did blah, blah, blah.
I'll buy her some more perfume.
Right. But the problems is still occurring.
That was the old me. The new me, I ain't got no money. We're going to sit and talk about this. This is broke P. This ain't balling P. You feel me? So, you know, we're gonna figure this out. And if we can't figure it out, that's cool. You feel me? If you say we can't be together, we can't talk, we can't communicate about our children, that's cool. We'll see the effects later on. You feel me? 9 times out of 10, there will be effects that I will have to deal with. I will have to be held accountable for. But you can't run from your role in this, right? You're not trying to convince your daughter she should call her father. You feel me? Like, you ain't worried about it. You wanted the dad to call her. Okay, I'll call her. I can't call her that often, again, because I'm super busy, right?
This just leads me to this other bullet. Ego.
Mm-hmm.
How does our ego positively and negatively impact our decisions?
Well, ego is something that everybody has.
Absolutely.
Some people have a little.
Some people have a hell of a lot.
Some people have way too much. I've never been in a position where I've allowed my ego to get in my way.
Really?
Yeah. You think I'm lying? Gotta ask the question.
That's hard to believe. Like,
why?
Everybody has an ego.
Not me. I mean, I can have one. You might think I walk like everybody's like you're so above things. I said, because that has nothing to do with me. Like, I'm not gonna be on the ground and looking and trying to investigate everything. I'm not above it, right? I'm on the same level as it. I just don't. I got my blinders on right now, right? So I'm not paying attention to everything else.
Well, let's just change the word from ego to pride.
Pride is a sin.
Yeah, but pride is a sin, and oftentimes we have, we should have had that conversation with such and so because we knew we was dead wrong.
I have.
But our pride was like, no, I'm not breaking first.
No.
I'm not making that first phone call. I'm not texting that person first because I feel like they did X, Y, and Z, and I feel like I shouldn't have to reach out first. I know it is sin, but it happens. It happens all the time.
I'm always calling somebody. If you feel like I've done anything to you and I haven't reached out to you, then I really didn't do anything to you, right? So you need to give me a call. I don't know, right? But I've reached out.
Your pride hasn't stopped you. Like, yo, I know I should apologize. I know I was dead wrong.
I tell you, people tell me my apologies don't mean nothing. You always apologizing. Yeah, I have to, because if I did something wrong, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. You might. Okay, so
I don't have a problem apologizing.
But when it's the same, this is the thing, and I'm just going to say I don't know the situation.
Right.
But if you're apologizing for the same situation over, it's like, well, damn, like you keep on doing the same thing.
Well,
so don't say sorry.
No, I can apologize for it. You should leave. if you feel like I keep on doing the same thing.
Touche.
Like, why would you gonna just stand there while somebody smacks you every day at 5 o'clock? They come home from work and they smack you, smack every day. 365 days a year you get smacked, and you're gonna stay.
I'm about to hit you with something.
I'm leaving after the first two.
Okay, there's the such thing we talked about, this trauma bonding, because there's something that two people that they bond, and it might be something dysfunctional, and they get something out of that relationship, even though they keep on getting mishandled. It's something that they get out that relationship that is fulfilling to them.
Yeah, I was trauma bonding.
We all have at some point.
Yeah. I mean, once you really go and you talk to a therapist and you really let off everything, I mean, you pull that truck up. Yeah, I'm 16 through 23, this is what my life was like. 23 through 30, this is what my life was like. 30 through 37, that's what I did. I broke it down into 3 stages. Young P, growing up, not understanding life, not understanding women. P, still not understanding life, but is grown and has to take care of children, and has to be a father, and has to show up, and has to do things and help his mom and help his sister and help his cousins and help everybody else out. You feel me? And then finally, after all of that, I look back at it, and now I got older P, 30 to 37, tired. You feel me? Tired of taking care of people, tired of helping people, getting frustrated, getting mad. You feel me? And to a point, right, ready to die.
You know what this conversation made me think? I had a conversation with a young man, and he was talking about being the oldest sibling, especially being the oldest son, and the weight of being like the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made me think of you just a second ago. The weight of having that, and like
responsibility.
Yeah.
Right. I have no other choice. I got to make sure things are cool. And then then whatever you've done will now be judged by people that have never had to do it. Right? And also by the people you were doing it for.
Wow.
And then they can lead out their mouth and say, you ain't never do nothing for me.
Don't you hate when people say that?
Not really. I don't hate when anybody says anything. You're opening your mouth to your truth. That's your truth. All right, cool. That's where I'm at. You feel me? Like I'm almost. I know I'm at the top of one mountain and the bottom of another, but I am truly okay with you speaking what's true to you. How do you feel? Like, what did I do? Oh, I upset you. I hurt you. Okay, cool. This is what we can do moving forward. We don't have to, I can call you and check up on you and make sure you're straight, but we don't have to do anything else. We don't have to have anything else. You feel me? Like, if you can't trust me, I'm cool, because I'm not doing what I used to do. That's for damn sure. And I want to be. Like, I want to be cool. I want to be happy. I don't have time to be miserable. I don't have time to be frustrated. I don't have time to let you come in here and throw me off my square again. No, we're not going to do that.
It's so funny we having this conversation, because I think about, like, sometimes we spend our lives trying to make everybody else happy, where at the end of the day we need to start trying to make ourselves happy first.
And we said that in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? You know, when I think of you versus you, I just want people to understand that you are your own worst enemy, right? And until you go to therapy, until you sit down on that couch, until you cry it all out, until you tell him the things that are affecting you, right? You have to be truthful. You feel me? You can't go in there and bullshit, because if you go in there and bullshit, you're going to get bullshit. You feel me? If you go in there and lie and don't say what's really bothering you, what's really going on with you, you're not going to heal.
But you also got to think about, for somebody that went to therapy for years, like, that's a relationship that you're starting from scratch, a stranger, and then you're unpacking the most intricate parts of your life. You're not going to just go in there and just be like, even though you know that it's confidential, unless you're, in crisis mode, it's hard to just completely unpack.
Then why go in there?
It's a process. Nobody talks about the process of unpacking that. It's like, okay, first session I talked about when I was 6, and I don't think I'm ready to talk about when I was 16 yet.
Boy.
Like you gotta ease into that stuff.
Man, listen. Doc said, "Oh," he said, "Slow down, right? Let's talk about 16 through 23, right?
Wow.
Every year."
But you were ready.
I was ready because
that makes a difference.
No, I was ready because honestly, I was ready to die. You
So
feel me?
That
So
means you.
I did not ever want to relive my 14-year-old years because I tried to kill myself when I was 14.
Wow.
Right? I took a whole bunch of Motrin and went and laid in the bed with my grandma because I knew then I didn't have real friends.
Wow.
You feel me? I knew then that didn't nobody really care. You feel me? Like, and my grandma was the only person that loved me. So I took all her Motrins, bro, and laid in the bed. Told my mother I had a headache.
Jesus.
When I got in the hospital, they did a CAT scan. They said I had a cyst on my sinuses, and that's probably what I tried to do. But nah, I was ready to go. You feel me? Because my father was gone. And the people that I was looking up to, they didn't really care. You feel me? Like, they thought I'd be all right. I went to Chester High. I wasn't around a whole bunch of black people when I was a child. I was around white people. I went to Catholic school. So that culture shock, that changed me. And I was young, and I was trusting in people, and I thought people were friends, and they weren't. They were using. And if they weren't using, they was abusing. And that was okay, right?
But you know what? Just listening to you a few minutes ago, to me, like, even though you might have strayed off path and made mistakes, you still had a lot of sense, because when you got to your breaking point, or almost like I'm ready to check out, you was like, I'm gonna go sit on somebody's couch. Something in your mind clicked. Like,
it was my daughter.
Wow.
It was my middle daughter. Like, she's more like me than anybody.
Okay.
Right? And I knew that. And she felt the same thing that I felt.
Wow.
And I saw her, right? We were always watching Disney Channel together. We was always in the house, right? I was a hustler. I was running the street, but I was in the house with my children. I wasn't standing on nobody's corner. I wasn't hanging out with nobody. I wasn't that wasn't what I did. When I came home from jail. I was done. You feel me? With the hanging out. Like, I was going to do my thing my way.
Gotcha.
Whatever came from that came from that. I was cool. You feel me? Like, I'm not going to say I was rich. I'm not going to say I was flooding the streets, but I was cool. I didn't have to worry about too much. And watching my daughter, seeing my daughter, the way she looked at me, the way she felt, and then when she would go to bed, I'd just be sitting there like, let me take a ride. I didn't smoke anymore. I would be drunk. Probably pop a couple Percocet. Now I'm really
Right.
going.
Right.
Nodding off, falling asleep. Crashed the car a couple times.
Wow.
I didn't crash the car. I hit a deer a couple times. But life, I had to change, right? Because I saw how I was affecting her. You feel me? Like, I didn't want to be here.
You were meant to be here.
Maybe I was, right? Maybe I wasn't, but I'm here now, and I'm doing what I'm doing now, right? And it's a second lease on life. That's what I felt like therapy was. It was releasing everything that I had already packed up and put in my bags and put in the truck and rode around with and dropped off and gave away. And I was just saying, you know what, Doc, I need help. And he helped me, bro. Like, the radio station wouldn't be here if he didn't tell me, along with other people, that, you know, I wasn't too old to dream. I was 37 years old. He's like, bro,
That's still young.
He's like, and he brought out, he said, what did he say about the Amazon guy? I think he was 37 when he started.
Okay.
And he was 37. He's like, start it. You never know where it'll take you. Has it taken me places? Absolutely. Has it put me in rooms? Absolutely. And that's where that imposter syndrome came from, right? Because I didn't feel like I belonged because I still had the mentality. You hear me? The mentality of old me, right? And it was like, I ain't supposed to be here. I call my mom every night, bro. I ain't supposed to do this, Mom. I can't do this by myself, right? And she was like, Boy, I love you. I'm proud of you. Keep on doing what you're doing. You feel me? If what you're doing isn't helping, you can stop. But I think it's helping. I think it's helping a lot of people, right? So, keep on doing what you're doing.
Like I smile when I think about like when you talk about the radio station and like the like twinkle in your eye and the smile that you have, like you really are building legacy, like the first one to do it, like in our city. Like
Nah, not the first one. The
well,
first one to stick with it, right?
Well, to stick with it.
Right. There have been radio stations in our city before. There have been people, right? And again, the money wasn't there. And usually when the money's not there, the people aren't going to be there. The people dip off, right? But if you stick and you stick with it, right, you get to meet new people and they show you where the money is, right? I don't have a treasure map, right? I'm just working. I'm just working the radio station. I'm trying to get as many shows on this journey as possible. Let's knock it out for a year and then see where that takes us. Let's not rush. You feel me? Have I been doing it for 7 years? Absolutely. Have I made any money? Absolutely not. Right? I was working to pay the bills at the radio station. The people that do sponsor, you feel me? Now we got a sponsor? Absolutely. That's great. Guess what? I don't have to charge people for shows. You want a show? Come through here. I'll give it to you for free. But you got to stay here for a year. You understand what I'm saying? And you got to help do something. Right? You ain't just going to show up and do your show and roll out. Right? If you're not going to pay. Or you can pay. And then you can show up, get your stuff, and roll out. You feel me? But if you're going to come here and do a free show, you're going to help. Why wouldn't you want to help?
Absolutely.
Right. So.
This is bigger than you. Like always, when I talk to you about the radio, I feel like this is the podcast and everything is bigger than you. But with that being said, I want to like highlight some points to take away.
Right. Come on.
So understand and accept who you are, your strengths, weaknesses, and overall identity. Recognize that everyone is unique and talented in their own way. Learn to appreciate your progress and celebrate small successes.
You better celebrate those small successes.
Listen, I'm my biggest cheerleader.
Listen. Like you have to. Like I know, that's nothing. No, bro. I didn't accept them. I didn't celebrate them. Right? Because I was like so busy. My man called me the other day. He said, "Bro, you got a bunch of awards on your table for what you've done at the radio station." He said, "How does that feel?" I said, "I never really thought about it." You feel me?
Busy working.
But I want to thank everyone that took time to see what I was doing, right? And I know I haven't really been out there recently, and there are brothers out there working, man. Shout out to Gio, shout out to C, shout out to George, shout out to G Code, shout out to all the brothers over at Making a Change, all the brothers that are working in our community, right? If I would have continued working, I would have cussed somebody out. I would have said something to somebody, and it wouldn't have been good for me. So I had no other choice but to run back into my cave, which was the radio station, and figure it out, right? And why am I doing what I'm doing, right? So you got to celebrate your small wins. Please celebrate your small wins. Every small victory you get is another rung on the ladder, is another climb up the mountain. And just you might feel like you're at the bottom of your mountain, but you could be at the very top of the one that you were supposed to climb, and the bottom of another. So just be happy that you're still alive. Be grateful and thankful. Every day I wake up, I'm grateful. I'm thankful.
You're having some dope metaphors, yo. I'm gonna start using some of them.
Yeah, you gotta pay me for that.
So, set realistic goals that are specific to you. Focus on growth instead of perfection. Right. This is important because you don't want to, create the imposter syndrome in yourself.
There is no such thing as perfect. No such. The only thing that is perfect in my universe is God. That's it.
Absolutely.
And there's no perfect tree. You see trees that grow in houses. You feel me? You see a tree that grow around and is growing at the creek and is growing like it's curved, right? There is nothing. There's no such thing as perfection, right? Like you can't be perfect. So if you can't be perfect, why not just do it now? And learn and understand and grow and succeed and see and then come back and help somebody else. We don't have no doctors, no lawyers, no accountants. Shout out to Kristen Motley. She's a doctor. I know she's showing all the kids how to believe in themselves, how to go become doctors, bro. We have a lot of good people in the city of Chester, bro.
Sure.
You feel me? Like, that are doing positive things for their community. So it's just about reaching back to the children and grabbing them and showing them, right? Accountants. Where are the accountants at? Where are the people that do taxes? You feel me? Where are the people that audit nonprofits? Hit me up, right? Like, we need those people to show up and show out for our community, because the children are seeing, and somebody said it yesterday on the live I did in Upper Darby, this baby mama, baby dad, rap culture, the syndrome that we have that we're affected by. You feel me? And I understood where he was coming from. Then he started attacking homosexuality.
Oh,
and listen, I'm a straight man, right? I don't do what they do.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean I have to disrespect them.
Thanks.
Right? So whatever you're going to do, you should go about it humanly.
Yeah.
Like just be nice.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, it doesn't take a lot.
To be nice.
It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't cost much. But you you have to grow.
Yep.
Focus on growth.
Yep. So develop a healthy attitude towards competition with yourself rather than others. Like I say, I'm my own competition. Find inner motivation and challenge yourself daily for continual improvement. So every day we wake up, we have a chance to be a little bit better.
Yeah, I say it every morning, bro. If you woke up, you're blessed. You feel me? If you woke up breathing, you woke up blessed.
Thanks.
Like, you can't really complain about anything that happened yesterday, because it's done. So we move forward. Don't get mad.
Thanks.
Right.
And I got some quotes for y'all that I kind of resonate with. So, the only person I'm competing with is the person I was yesterday.
Facts.
It's not about being better than someone else. It's about being better than you used to be. Success is never about outdoing others. It's always about outdoing yourself. The greatest victory is the one you win against yourself, and your biggest competition is the person staring back at you in the mirror. One thing before we do our final thoughts, we always want to make sure that when we wake up in the morning and we look at ourselves in the mirror, that no matter what we're going through, find something to affirm yourself. Find something that you like about yourself. Know that you are that person, you are that girl, you are that man, and at the end of the day, even on your worst days, you are worthy of great things, no matter what you are facing. So I'm going to hit you guys with the final thoughts. P, you got anything you want to say?
Things get hard, right? And things feel like they're falling apart. They're actually coming together.
Bars.
You can't. And I know it's hard, right? When you judge yourself, when you think of what you can do and what you can't do, and who you are and who you're not. Let's not think about the nots. Let's not think about who you aren't, right? Let's think about, what do you want? Right? If you want to be successful, if you want to be a chef, if you want to be a gardener, if you want to be a radio station owner, if you want to be a model, if you want to be a singer, then do it. Sometimes what you want to be is who you're supposed to be. And you put blocks in front of yourself because you're scared that you're not going to make it. But as long as you remain scared, you'll never make it. I'm not telling you to drop. I said this morning. It's not about dropping fear. It's about building with fear.
Do it scared, y'all.
Right. Because if you're not doing it scared, you're not doing it right. Right? Do it with fear. Don't be scared. Don't be upset. Don't get frustrated. You feel me? Like, just know. Like, when you jump out of a plane, boy, you can hit that ground so hard. So you're doing it scared. So just jump. Just jump. Like, don't. And it's you versus you, right? Absolutely. If you tell yourself every day it won't happen, it never will happen. But if you tell yourself it's going to happen, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get up, I'm going to go here, I'm going to get this, I'm going to do that, I am possible, not impossible. I am possible.
You better say it. Say it with your chest.
You feel me? And once you get to moving like that, bro, like doors open up. Let me tell you, doors open up, and there's so many doors, bro. There's so many doors. And sometimes you got to be ready to walk out of those rooms that you're in because you're too comfortable in that room. So, yeah, that's all I got.
You spoke a word over me. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. I love y'all on purpose, man. I'm not playing around. It's so many things that we can do together. There's so many things we could do apart, right? But one thing we can't do apart is build our community. It's help our children. I've been in this school for almost a year. I love it. I love the kids. I love the energy that I get from them. They're podcasting, right? So, I'm all about giving the children a voice, letting them speak, right? Also holding them accountable. I ain't going to beat nobody's kids. I ain't going to do anything, but, things happen. So.
To piggyback off of P, I'm an educator, been an educator for going on 17 years, a school counselor for going on 17 years. And, I really enjoy working with children. And I feel like, children are our future, and that my goal in this life, as long as I have breath, is to make sure that children know that like I'm their biggest advocate, and to teach them the tools to advocate for themselves, to empower them. That is so important, because there's so many kids out here that are gifted with talent and all this stuff, but they may not believe in themselves because they don't have anybody pushing them or affirming them. So, if you are someone that has time to really pour into children outside of, your profession, even if it's mentoring, I've done all types of mentoring, big sister, big brother program, you name it, I've done it. Give back to your community. If you have free time to pour into somebody's child, do that. And on that note, we're going to end with these final thoughts. Working towards self-improvement is a lifelong journey. Don't be afraid to take small steps and celebrate your successes along the way. Remember, each person has something special about them that can bring joy and success as they continue striving forward. Invest time in understanding who you are and what drives you so that you can work towards becoming the best version of yourself.
I want to thank Drea for stopping by for this uncomfortable conversations. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. You can catch us every Tuesday between 7 and 7:30.
Yeah.
Right. But you can't change what happened to you in the past. I get it. It's traumatic. I get it. It hurts. It stings. It burns. It itches. It's irritating. It's frustrating. But you have to want to see a better future. You have to want that more than you want to acknowledge the past. Yes, the past made you, right? But the past didn't break you. So you have to talk about it to someone, right? And let it off your chest. Because see, once you release it, bro, I release all ties and hoosh and wagons and ropes and leashes and everything that are connected to me from this situation. And that's what happens when you talk. When you release it, it frees you to think, to move, to respond in a different way. The CMPRadio.net is your boy Uncle P, man. I appreciate y'all sitting with us. I appreciate y'all tuning in again. Catch us next Tuesday. Uncomfortable Conversations. Uncle P, Drea B. Anything else you want to say before we roll up out of here?
Nah, but I'll say this, some of y'all got to come through. Come through.
Yeah, we had a guest that was supposed to come through. She didn't call. She didn't say anything, right? And one thing I'm not going to do is call you when you call me and say you won't come through. You said you won't come through. Right? We ain't had a conversation. She'll call me a little later. Probably cuss me out for saying something to her right now. But I'm not going to put her out there. I'm not going to say who it was. Right? It's cmpradio.net, man. You already know this is Uncomfortable Conversations. It's your homeboy Uncle P and your sis, Drea B. I want y'all to have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. And remember, I love you on purpose. Peace.